Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo. Welcome to my scrapbook table. Today I'm doing some photos from Signal Mountain in Wyoming, and this layout is for a challenge from Debbie Sanders of Scrapbook Generation, and it's to create a layout with 2 old things, 2 new things, and 4 different patterned papers. So I have a slew of photos here from Signal Mountain in Wyoming, Grand Teton National Park. I'm going to make a 2-page spread, but I'm also doing a 6x12 that will go in the middle of them because I just have too many photos, but I don't really have enough for 2-page spreads, and I thought this would be a good way to do it. There I have my little post-it note reminding myself of what I need for the challenge. And so for my old items, one of the old things is this pack of leaves. I'm pretty sure they are from Creative Memories. The other old thing is my cardstock, which is ancient. And this is kind of old. I've had it for a while. It's not ancient, but it's pretty old. But the cardstock, yeah, I've had for probably 8 years or so. These are new also. These are from Dusty Attic. My husband bought them for me as part of my Christmas gift from MK's shop. Some assemblage required, and that little camera is from there too. And some of the wood veneer that you buy has little bits of coating on the front because it protects the wood when it's being treated. So I just made sure all that was off. Then I grabbed a little sponge and some seriously old white paint because it's distress white picket fence, I think. And I just used a sponge and sponged it over the camera because I didn't want it to be the wood. I wanted it to have a little bit of a whitewashed look. And that only takes a couple minutes to dry. I already did the same thing to the chipboard from Dusty Attic, and I let that dry. I did it the other day and just set it here to dry. I did it because I knew I was going to use that on this page, but I didn't really have time to scrapbook, so I just did that part. And here I'm showing you that I have this 6x12 that's going to go in the center, but I set that aside for now. You can see that I've already created my main part of my page with all those photos or pieces of patterned paper that are going along there. I did that ahead because it took me a really long time to get that done. This video would have been so long and so much to edit that I just decided I wasn't going to film that part. And I'm using a little bit of a grayish wood grain to finish off this photo so that it looks like the wood part of the sign is going the whole way around. And that is actually going to serve as my title because that's where we were, Signal Mountain Summit. And I fiddle around with where I want my pictures. And I guess I do decide that I'm doing this part of the 6x12 with the 12x12. And I decide I need the vertical photo there in the narrower portion. And I just decide I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a grid with these. And there they go. I think about using some of these frames, but I actually don't end up doing that. I had this picture of a camera that came from the same set of paper, and so I just treated that as a cut apart, and I cut it, trimmed it out, fussy cut it. That took a little bit of time with all those little pieces, but it wasn't bad. And I do end up putting that on some fun foam to raise it up so it gives a little bit of dimension to this layout. And now I'm thinking about how I want the photos to go on the other half of the layout. And it's not quite a mirror image of the other side, but similar. I love that photo of my husband with the camera there. And there, everything is stuck down now. And I'm thinking about where I want to put the leaves. That took me a long time too. For some reason, this layout just took a long time. And I think I know why. Part of it is that I didn't really have things that went with the layout. I was making things work. And also, I've gotten away somewhat from using solid cardstock as a background, which I never thought would happen. So I just kept feeling like it wasn't done, it wasn't done, it wasn't done. If I were going to do the layout again, I think I would do a little bit of mixed media on that cardstock, and that would make me feel better about it. But I still love the photos, I still love the memory. I wrote some journaling that talked about the day, and this is a neat day because we drove up Signal Mountain in the morning right after we had watched the sunrise, which you'll see that layout a little bit later this month. And we drove up to the mountain just to be at the lookout and see what we could see. We didn't see any wildlife that morning, but then we went about our day and we had a long, busy day. But after dinner, we decided to drive back up the mountain and view it at night. And so the left-hand portion of this layout is the morning pictures, and the right-hand portion of this layout are the evening pictures. And so that was interesting and neat to do. Something I don't usually get to do is see the sunrise and the sunset all in one day, because I don't do sunrise very well. I'm not a morning person, but my husband is. So we had a great day. And here I'm still thinking this needs more. I really like those dusty attic chipboard pieces that I put down there. I just layered them over top the greenish leaves that I had. And now I'm flipping through here thinking, what else can I do? What else can I do? This layout needs something else. So I get a bin of embellishments, which I'll bring over in a moment, and think about, I start flipping through there, and I did find these canvas flare buttons from the Scrappy Happy Studio. I don't really have a use for the one that says all boy, but I did use the one that says so epic and one that says dream big. And I sent them through my Gemini Junior to flatten them just a bit so that they weren't quite as bulky. And now I'm flipping through that bin more to see what else can I find. And what I settled on was 49 and Market rub-ons. And the pack doesn't have, it's mainly blue, but it does have some tans and grays, which fit this layout. So that's what I pulled out. And I cut out very specific splotches and just dots and pieces, couple leaves, and some butterflies, yes. And I'm rubbing them on, tucking them under a little bit or overlapping, and rubbing them on at various places. I'm going to go ahead and read my journaling. There's some on the right, or I'm sorry, on the left. It says, after watching the sunrise, we drove up Signal Mountain to see the stunning, or to take in the stunning views. There is so much to see. And then for the left, at the end of the day, we drove back up the mountain in hopes of seeing some wildlife, but we only saw an elk and 3 foxes and couldn't get a good picture of the foxes. They were too quick. And then finally, underneath the photo at the far right, it says, Brian's our son, gave us these great binoculars for an early anniversary present, and we've certainly put them to good use on this trip. We were really grateful to him for those binoculars, and I wanted to make sure that was documented in our album. That was very, very sweet of him. Then last, I decided it's still not done, so I took a white gel pen, since I had some white on the camera and the, the chipboard. And I just doodled around the edge. They're not straight lines, they're not particularly curvy either, but I didn't use a ruler or anything. And I do like how that finished it off. I wish my white pen were a little bolder, but it isn't. I struggle with white pens. If you know of a white pen that is reliable and works really well and you don't have to fight with, please tell me in the comments, because I would love to have one. And so this is just about done. There are some still shots coming up at the end for you to view. And there I am, just finishing up my journaling. Journaling is an important part of scrapbooking to me. I enjoy writing, and it's Sometimes it serves as kind of a therapeutic thing too, as if it were a journal. And there we go. This is all done. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, check out the Scrap Squad. Goodbye.